Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Facebook and YouTube Live. I'm Julie Williams, and with me is the inimitable Tracy Lindley, the woman who went from novice income of zero to six figures in record time and credits LinkedIn for that growth. And she's going to teach us a few tips about LinkedIn and then tell you where you can learn even more. You know what? It seems, Tracy, like to me, LinkedIn is like, it's so complicated. And I keep thinking, what's the value of even being on there?
Yeah, that's a common question that I often get is like, what's the difference between LinkedIn and all the other social media platforms? And I would just say that, people who are on LinkedIn, they're there for professional reasons. They're not there to, just share about their personal life so much as they're there to share about their professional life and network. And we're all looking for opportunities to grow our business, to become, to continue to grow in our career path. And especially, you and I are freelancers and entrepreneurs, and we have to continue, as people in the gig economy, we have to continue to grow our client base because someone could change their mind. They'd no longer want us for X project. The brand could change and shift a different direction. And it happens constantly of no fault of anyone's, just change is good. Um, so for that reason, we always need to be, quote unquote, prospecting. I don't love that term because it seems so cold to me. I do like to use the word networking because I've done that in person, and I just take what I've learned from those in person interactions and applied it to this digital platform. We have, I live in Missouri. It's a
Mm-hmm.
flyover state, and I know that. I don't seek out local business. And so for that reason, I love the fact that as we have our voices that we can capture and share digitally. And so I've worked with people all over the world. In any given week, I had a session with somebody in Lebanon, somebody in the UK, as well as coast to coast. I work with somebody in New York and somebody in California just about every week. So we have the opportunity to share and network and do business with people all over the world. So what I would like to do is to just share a few tips, and you've asked me to gather 3 of my best tips, which
Mm-hmm.
I have done. And unless you have any other questions, I will get started on that.
Just and this your tips will probably answer is like, there's so many people on LinkedIn. How do we get through the noise and make them notice us? Which I'm assuming your three tips are pretty much going to cover.
Well, there is a lot of noise. My best tip that I have shared over and over is to just be authentic. Don't be out for yourself, but be client focused. What can I give someone, not what can I take from someone?
Mm-hmm.
Sharing value and just making sure that what I have is something interesting. And maybe even if I have to share a project, that's about me, but
Mm-hmm.
yet I want to credit the people I work with, maybe share something fun and light. People in the business world, I wish LinkedIn had a laugh emoji because we still laugh as professionals and we still like to have fun.
What are your three tips for how we can, if we like work diligently, no promises, but maybe go from zero to six figures in record time?
Well, it takes consistency. And even I started my business right before I found out I was pregnant with my 4th child. And so I knew that my lifestyle was different than a lot of other people. And I didn't, yes, I waffled between, oh, I can't wait until she's older so I can have more time to work on the business. But then I don't want to wish her life away. And I really feel like I hit that balance the best I could. I used those little years where she's needing a lot of attention. And then, I had a toddler and a preschooler and an elementary school. So, whatever phase of life you're in, you have to take a good hard look at what you are facing. And if you are facing diapers and naps and baby food and whatever, and your kids are getting into everything, then you really only have a limited time to market. So, what I did was I used that hour and a half or whatever of nap time. Um, I would busy my other children with other activities and I would market. So I probably was marketing to about 20, 25 people every day was my goal. because I knew that I couldn't really record much. I didn't have any business, for one thing.
Right.
So I looked at it as this is my job. My job now in this phase of life is marketing because I don't have clients yet. This
Right.
was back in I started my business in 2014. In 2015 and 2016 were the hard hitting marketing years. And I am now barely marketing because I have so many clients that they're referring me to their clients. And I have a great network of voiceover friends that are also referring me. And I love to refer other people too.
Mhm.
It's a beautiful cycle, and a beautiful way to network and give back, while still. I mean, I just got a job yesterday from a good friend, and she got to choose who she wanted. So it was me and some other people, but she chose me because of our relationship, and
Mhm.
it was never based on what I can take from her. In fact, I gave her as many auditions as I saw that were in her wheelhouse. She
Mhm.
has a different accent than mine, but anyway. Let's get to it.
Yes.
So, the first tip that I would say is to complete your LinkedIn profile. A lot of people get discouraged because there is a lot of information, but look at that as a win. Look at that as a way to quickly showcase to the world who you are, where you went to school, what your background is, because a lot of us did something before we did voiceover.
Right.
For me, I was a claims adjuster in the auto industry. And so I love using that knowledge when I do auto spots. I do a lot of commercials and things. But really, I mean, you can learn, you can be trained in whatever area. We have a lot of great coaches like yourself who
Thank
will
you.
help train and get you to where you need to be. Um, but anyway, complete your profile. Even if it's not perfect, even if you don't have me to show you how to do it, or I do have a course as well that kind of goes through all the points.
Mhm.
Do your best, get through it, complete your profile. That's going to hit you. It's going to get you higher up the rankings with the algorithm.
If
So the
you
sec.
have if you have a question, you can go ahead and put it in the chat below. And just realize that if you're doing it through Facebook, it's just going to tell us Facebook user. So put your name in so we know who you are. Thank you so much, Facebook user, who said Tracy is the real deal, full of knowledge and love. That is true. I can attest to that. Tracy is the real deal, full of knowledge and love. So what's
That's
tip number 2?
Thank you for that. That's so kind.
Oh, you know what? I also want to, yeah, if you have a question, go ahead and put it in. That's right. Okay.
Okay, so for tip number 2, I would say be easy to contact. My One of my best tips is to put your contact information everywhere that you possibly can. And for me, I'm going to tell you the 4 places to do it. I'm finding my webcam here.
Mhm.
Okay, obviously the first one is in the contact information field, but I tell you how to optimize even that when I go through. Well, we're going to have a webinar coming up on Tuesday, and I go through that in my course too. But there are little tiny tips even there that I can help you with. But complete that. Make sure that you have your contact information filled out. But then there are 3 more areas that you can take advantage of. So here they are. You can put your contact information in the graphic that goes at the top. It's called a header. Sometimes it's called a background photo, something like that. So then so that's one place that you can use. You can use Canva. You can hire a graphic designer to do that. You can check out my LinkedIn profile. It's under Tracy Lindley, obviously. And my first name is Tracy, and my last name is Lindley. So anyway, so the header at the top, the contact information, and then there are 2 more places. You can put your contact information in the text part of your about section. So that's about me, where you come from and what your values are, and you're describing yourself. But if you look at my profile, I have my contact information at the bottom of the text.
Mhm.
So that way it's really easy to find. And I do put emojis with it just to kind of get the eye to look there. I don't like a lot of emojis or anything like that, but it is helpful to use them in a thoughtful way to draw the eye where you want it to go. And the 4th place to put your contact information is in the experience section, which
Mhm.
is when you go down and you're describing, your job experience and what you do as a voice actor, more the nitty gritty. That's where you can put your contact information, I just copy and paste it from earlier, because you never know how experienced someone else is with LinkedIn either,
Right.
because there are a lot of really talented professional people who just don't use LinkedIn that much. And so they're not going to know exactly where to click, where to navigate to, because there is a lot going on a single LinkedIn profile. So that's why I like to make sure that it's easy for people to find you. I've tried to refer other folks to one of my agents. He was looking for someone quickly, and people didn't have their email address listed on their website. And people didn't have that on their LinkedIn profile. I mean, be easy to reach. You want that job. And this industry does move very quickly. Usually the voiceover is the last step in the process of making that video. So they need it now. They need it
Mhm.
today, maybe tomorrow. If you get some lead time, we know that's great. But usually, especially with commercials, it moves very quickly. And you could get
Oh,
passed over if you don't have contact information out there, because if you're like, well, I can't reach that person, so on to the next person. It's competitive. Don't make that mistake.
Tracy is just full of information about LinkedIn. I can tell you we've done a number of webinars together, and I still don't know as much as she does. I still don't know everything she's taught, But the good thing is, if you attend one of these webinars, you will get a copy of the video, because I can tell you, you're going to learn so much that you're going to have to go back and do it step by step. You're going to be watching this again and again if you'll make the commitment to go to LinkedIn and really build your business that way. If you have a question or a comment, you can go ahead to the comment section, and please put your first name there first, and then let us know what your question is. Tracy has one more tip for us, but then after that, if there are any questions, we'll be happy to answer it. And if you would like to sign up for the webinar, go to the chat and click on the link in the chat box. It's Tuesday night, and that's going to be at 4 o'clock Pacific time, 4 p.m. Pacific time, and then that's at 7 o'clock Eastern time. And we'll go for an hour, hour and a half, depending on how many questions there are. So what is tip number 3?
Okay, so the third tip I would say is to remember that if people can't easily see your work or hear your work, in our case, you'll also be passed over. People do not have time to go to your website and hunt that down. I've heard others say, well, all of my work is on my website. Well, why can't you just put some of that work on your LinkedIn profile?
Right.
Make that effort to do it, because we are here client focused. We're not here for ourselves. We're here to serve them. And so that means making life really easy for your client. That's
That's
a
it.
great that's what I preach it all the time, like client focus, because it's not about me, it's about you. And I do that with even the way that I approach social media, the way that I approach, what information I put out there on my LinkedIn profile or my website. I just want to make your life easy. So one way you can make your client's life easy is just by having your work right there. So all they have to do is click it. So there are 2 places you can put that. One is in the featured section, and that's where you want to put your best stuff. But you also can put it in the experience section, which you cannot upload an MP4 or MP3. You
Mhm.
do have to have a link. So that's why people need to have a YouTube channel, Vimeo channel, so that they can showcase their work there, but then link to it on LinkedIn.
I've gotten to the point where I give a demo video with every demo that I do now, because of LinkedIn and places like that you can't upload your audio demo like we always have. So every time somebody buys a demo from me, they get a free video of that same demo, so that can be posted up on LinkedIn and some of the other social media sites that
Right.
again won't take the audio. That was a frustration for so long, but that is definitely the solution there. Okay, so the webinar again coming up Tuesday night, $69.95 a steal. And just click on the link that's in the chat box. And last call for questions. If you have any questions, looking through here, I don't see any more questions. That means you explained it very clearly to start with. So let's see. I was going to ask about the MP3s. What else would you say would make us stand out? Let's say when we're approaching somebody, we see this this prospect, and I know you're going to go all through the process of finding the prospects and selecting them because there's so many people on there. But when we approach this person, what's one tip that you would give?
I would just make sure that you're a good fit for that person. Like if this is don't go hunting down audiobook production sites if you're not into audiobooks. I'm personally not someone that voices those. It's just too long and I can't stay interested and
Too much work.
yeah. So I love commercials. My personality is just go, 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 go. I want to feel good doing this project, closing the project in a single day. And
Mhm.
so commercials are my jam. I love web videos and explainer videos. I do enjoy e-learning as well, but I won't take on as many projects just because it's longer form, takes me a while. But so just make sure that your genres that you do and you specialize in match the producer or whoever that you are trying to get in contact with. You don't just say to yourself, "Well, I could do that." Make sure that it's something you enjoy and sometimes we don't know until we try. I did
Right.
attempt a couple of audiobooks back in the beginning because they were offered to me.
Mhm.
Um, but anyway, I quickly realized that I'm not gonna wanna do, like a sci-fi zombie apocalypse trilogy. No, thanks. I'm gonna pass on that.
Yeah, I've done 20 audiobooks, but for the most part, I quit doing them like back right about the time you were getting in voiceover, right about 2014. Because sitting that long is hard. Here's the key: when I found myself dreading going into the
Mhm.
studio for less money that I make in e-learning, I just decided it isn't worth it. Now,
Yeah.
on occasion, if the right book came along, I would do it, but it would have to be a nonfiction, so it's a real easy read. It's almost like an e-learning. I don't have to do all the work that it takes to get characters and stuff like that. But you just have to decide what you're good at. There are people who I've been trying to get to do some e-learning because they're so good and they're just full time. They just don't have time to get into something else because they're really making a good living book after book after book in audiobook. So whatever you do, though, that's the cool thing is whatever you do, you can find prospects on LinkedIn, and Tracy can teach you how to do it.
So come join us Tuesday. And I feel like even if you can't make it, it's definitely worth it to buy the replay. But those are some of my best tips, but there's more where that came from.
Yeah, a
So
whole lot more, trust me.
I
Oh,
love doing these webinars with you, Julie. I think it's so fun to just share practical tips that we can put into practice right now, no matter what stage of your career that you are in. And I mean, even this is a lot of stuff that even any entrepreneur could employ, but
that's
this
right.
will specifically be geared toward voice actors. But this is still things that any entrepreneur needs to know.
Every time we do a webinar, I feel guilty that I'm not committed like I should be because you will get results if you're committed. No promises, obviously. I can't promise, but seriously, you'll get results if you're committed to doing what it takes. By the way, to get the video of the webinar, all you have to do is sign up for the webinar as if you're going to be there. And then if you don't make it, that's fine. Within a day or two, everybody who signs up for the webinar will get a link to the worksheet that Tracy is giving away for free and also the replay of the webinar. So you don't even have to tell us if you're going to be there or not, because by registering ahead of time, you will automatically get that video.
Thank you for explaining that. I do have people email me a lot with that
Mhm.
very question. So
Yeah,
thanks for covering that. That should be
yeah,
crystal clear to everybody.
that's right. That's right. So we will see you guys on Tuesday night. And Tracy, I'm really looking forward to doing this again.
Me too, Julie. Thanks.
Bye, everybody.